Hello everyone, welcome to the online class. Today we shall discuss the remaining part of the chapter, The Adventures of Toto. So let's start. Starting from the 16th paragraph, a large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in. With his head sticking out from the open kettle. This was just fine for a while, until the water began to boil. Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time, until grandmother arrived and hauled him, half boiled, out of the kettle. In a large kettle, water was boiling on the stove. Toto climbed up to the stove and removed the lid from it. He felt that the water was warm enough for him to take a bath. He entered the kettle with his head out of it. When the water started boiling, it became hot for Toto. He thought of coming out of the kettle, but as the temperature outside was cold for him, he stayed in it. Toto kept on jumping in the kettle for a while. It was when Ryder's grandmother arrived that she took the half boiled monkey out of the kettle. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it. Now, the explanation is, if there is a part in our brain that governs our ability to create mischief, then that part in Toto's brain was highly developed, as he had great capacity to do mischief. He was always busy doing mischief. Whenever the writer's aunts passed him, he tried to tear their dresses. In the 18th paragraph, one day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. We entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with rice. My grandmother screamed, and Toto threw a plate at her. One of my aunts rushed forward and received a glass of water in the face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through the window. We found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree, the dish still in his arms. He remained there all afternoon, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. And then, in order to spite grandmother, who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down from the tree and chattered with delight when it broke into 100 pieces. Now, here is the explanation. The writer recollects another incident when Toto created a lot of mischief. At lunchtime, a dish of rice was placed on the dining table. When the family reached to eat, they found Toto eating it. The writer's grandmother screamed at Toto, and in response, he threw a plate at her. When the aunt tried to catch Toto, he threw a glass of water in their face. When the grandfather arrived, Toto left the place through a window with the dish of rice along with him. Toto remained out the entire afternoon. He sat on a branch of the jackfruit tree, determined to eat all the rice. As the grandmother had screamed on him, he wanted to annoy her further, and so after eating the rice, he threw the dish. It broke into several pieces. In the 19th paragraph, we read, obviously, Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long. Even grandfather realized that. We were not well to do and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains, and wallpapers. So grandfather found the tonga-driver and sold Toto back to him for only 3 rupees. Finally, grandfather realized that Toto was not suitable to be kept at home. They could not afford the frequent losses that he gave them. He tore clothes, curtains, wallpapers, and broke dishes. So the grandfather sold Toto back to the same tonga driver for a sum of 3 rupees. The summary of the story is here. The writer's grandfather liked to collect animals and had a zoo at home. Once he bought a monkey named Toto from a tonga driver for a sum of 5 rupees. Toto was kept secretly as the grandmother disliked animals. Toto was very mischievous. When the writer and his grandfather hid Toto in a cupboard and tied him to a hook, he broke the hook and caused havoc in the room. The next day, when he was kept in the servants' room along with the other animals, he did not let them sleep all night. As grandfather had to go to Saharanpur for work, he decided to take the monkey along with him. He carried Toto in a strong bag made of canvas and closed the zip nicely so that Toto could not escape. Toto made unsuccessful attempts to get out of the bag, which made the bag jump and roll. This aroused the curiosity of fellow passengers at the railway station. At the Saharanpur railway station, when grandfather was getting his ticket checked, Toto peeked out of the bag and smiled at the ticket collector. As the ticket collector declared that it was a dog, grandfather had to buy a ticket for 3 rupees, much to his annoyance. When Toto was accepted by grandmother, it was given a place in the stable along with the donkey Nana. Toto did not get along with Nana as well. Toto enjoyed taking bath in warm water during the winter season. One day he almost boiled himself when he jumped into a kettle of boiling water. One afternoon Toto ate the family meal of pulao. He threw the empty dish from the tree and it broke it into several pieces. Toto's mischief grew by the day and grandfather realized that they could not keep him at home. Finally, he found the same tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for a sum of 3 rupees. So, here the story sends the message that we should love animals. We should also treat them with respect. Grandfather sees the monkey with a tonga driver. He wants to keep the monkey in his zoo in comfort. So, he buys a monkey and keeps it as his pet. But being a wild animal, the monkey creates a lot of trouble, and grandfather decides that the monkey would be much happier with the tonga driver. Grandfather treats Toto with love and concern. So this lesson gives a message about animal rights and animal welfare. So children, if you like the video, do like it and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.